Rosa, I want to talk a little bit about the rural context of what's been happening, because for a long time, that was the catch-all phrase, the fact that rural India was, saving us, protecting us, holding us up. And really, the underlining over there is the Narega program. But if you scratch deeper and you look at what's happening in terms of, the rural non-farm sector, it's not very vibrant. Even if you look at the data in terms of Narega, the number of applicants versus those who actually got some work saw a big gap, as did the fact that many of them had already completed their 100 days of work. Draw out for us the picture in terms of how you see it on what's happening with rural India and what you think the pressure points are that will have to be addressed in terms of employment.
Right. So yeah, I think what we saw at the very, during the lockdown time was urban India doing better or doing worse off than rural India. And what was happening in rural India was really agriculture acting as a cushion. And a lot of people, then becoming self-employed subsistence farmers in rural India. But then, as we proceed into August, we find that this kind of differential between urban and rural kind of narrowing, and we don't see that rural is any better off. What we see again with CMI data, but also corroborated by other data, is huge loss of incomes for farmers as well as the non-agricultural self-employed. So what we saw is you have teachers, you have peons, other daily wage workers moving into subsistence farming, but also then facing huge income losses. So what this really calls for is expansion of what Narega, as you said, was a huge safety net. So up until the time when economy it can be revived, Narega, there has been calls for increasing the number of days under Narega, increasing the wage given under Narega, and then again also at the urban level, also having some kind of an urban employment guarantee, which could also then support urban workers as well. So there is this need. I mean, and I just want to go back to this point of, this is an exceptional situation. And these are kind of playing on existing fault lines that were there. But do we temporarily suture these fault lines, or do we want to actually concretely address these gaps? And that's what we should be aiming at, not sort of temporarily fixing these fault lines. I agree that there are fault lines that have inherently been there. It's exacerbated during this crisis. Let's address that through these kind of support systems, social security benefits, which should exist not just outside, not just within the employment framework, but outside of the framework of employment as well. As citizens, individuals should be eligible for some kind of support and benefits from the state as citizens, whether it's in big public services like health or education. And these are also employment generating programs as such, which could also further have multiplier effects like Professor
There
Jha
has
was
been some
talking about.
reference to what states can do in this context, Rosa, and I just wanted to, draw your thoughts on that in terms of what you're seeing in terms of trends, particularly in North India, where it seems like the unemployment situation was far more intense. We did have an announcement a couple of months back from the Uttar Pradesh government saying that they're going to provide at least 50 lakh youths with jobs till March 2021. Now, till Feb 2020, UP had about 34 lakh unemployed people. There was a huge scale reverse migration that happened, of course, during COVID. Uh, do these figures seem likely? Do they seem doable for large states that are addled with an unemployment situation?
Do they seem doable? I'm not sure. What is it? Is it again going back to the fiscal constraints? Again, I would echo Professor Jha saying that I think so. The fiscal deficits and the fiscal challenges is going to be globally faced by countries across. It's not going to be unique to India. And I think beyond the point, we need to look beyond that and also address the moral responsibility of the state to take into account these kind of struggles, and it's real issues of people not being able to eat and hunger of households. So can states meet these kind of demands? So even amongst like there are instances of Jharkhand and UP and Kerala also having some kind of employment guarantee programs. They've announced increase in the wages for employment guarantee. They are constrained again because of their resources.